Hang on. Camera's a little crooked. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk about, well, I practice what I preach. And we talk all the time on this channel about the reason I recommend certain entry-level guitars to people is because I feel that this is just an opinion, obviously, and you can disagree with me if you want in the comments, it's fine. We all feel differently about it. But I think there's an aspirational nature to guitar playing, right? Like you start with something that you can afford and that you can you're like, oh, this is, I got my first Squire, I got my first whatever. And then, as you learn and as you gain appreciation for various aspects of guitar playing and various types of quality and this and that, then you work I don't want to say you work your way up, but you start to understand the differences maybe. And the next thing you know, you're playing a Fender custom shop. You know what I mean? Like 20 years later, 30 years later, or 2 years later, it doesn't really matter. It's just as you start to appreciate things. But we all start somewhere. And sometimes, it doesn't, I guess it doesn't matter where you start, as long as you start and that you have a guitar that you like and that you play. And I tell people all the time, if you're going to start playing guitar today, or if you started playing guitar yesterday, if you have your first guitar, never ever sell it, okay? You could mod it if you want, you could leave it alone, you could leave it original, but never ever sell it. I think for me personally, to have it as a reference is super, super cool. Not only do I have my first electric guitar that you've seen on this channel, I also have my first amp, which you've never seen on this channel. Today we're gonna play it. I think it's kind of terrible, but I think it's going to be fun. So let me show you my first guitar rig and tell you why tell you the story. Okay, so I'm going to tell you the story. I got my first guitar rig here. We'll start with the guitar and then I'll show you the amp. All right, here it is. This is my old plastic guitar case that has Batman tape on it, and like this has been on planes, it's been to both oceans, it's been to the northern, like Upper Peninsula of Michigan, Lake Superior. There's dirt and dust from all over the continent on this guitar. It's been to Mexico a bunch of times, but here it is. This is a 1985 Fender Stratocaster. From Japan. This is an E-Code series guitar. For those of you that are familiar, you may know what that E-Code is. And if you'll notice, it's got a weird Kahler Series 1 tremolo on it. And it's never been refretted. Rosewood fretboard. I don't play it that much anymore. The pickups that are in it, I have all the original stuff, but the pickups that are in it are the very first set of Strat pickups I ever wound. They've got clear plastic pickup covers on them, and I actually wrote my name on them with a paint marker, and that is what inspired me to sign all of the pickups that we sign them all by hand to this day. 10,000, 12,000 pickups later, we're still signing everything by hand, but this is the very first time I ever did it. It's candy apple red, or whatever you want to call it. The back panel plate is gone. It's beat up. I was approximately 12 or 13 years old when I got it. The neck has got a bunch of dings in it. I don't know that I necessarily appreciated what this was at the time. To tell you the honest truth, if I were to, here's the trem bar. If I were to sell this guitar, it probably wouldn't bring 500, 800 bucks. I think my dad paid $300 in a trade for this guitar when we first got it, and you couldn't sell them. Like it was just it wasn't worth anything. Maybe now they kind of are. This bridge is probably worth $1,000 and the guitar is only worth 400. Like the guitar is just not worth that much. But it's worth everything to me because this is my first electric guitar. Okay, let me show you the amp. Okay, so what you see here is a PV Studio Pro 40. This is a completely solid state. I want to say this amp is from like 1982 or 83, in that era. It's a 40 watt solid state total transistor amp. It is one 12-inch speaker and obviously a combo. It's got a coil reverb in it that is actually really good. It's got a push-pull thick knob, which is, I wish it was 2 C's, that'd be cool. And then we've got our EQ here. We've got a pull bright on your pre-gain, on your preamp. Saturation, which is funny because that's like a weird way of saying gain, which is funny. And then post, so pre, post, and saturation. This is a really interesting gain stage thing. It all just sounds like a gnarly transistor amp. So the story behind this is not the actual one. I think my dad actually still has it's his really. I think he has the original Studio Pro 40 that I had when I was a kid. And so a couple years ago, I got on Reverb and I was like, you know what? I need to find this so that I have my original guitar rig, so that we can talk about this, so that I can always reference it as a, you know. And here's what I'm going to tell you. I've never played through it. I bought it, I plugged it in and made sure it worked when I got it, but I've never actually sat and really played through it since I was a kid. So what I'm saying is there's been 25 years in between the time that I had this amp and today. And I've not really played it. Like I said, I plugged it in and did a function check. But other than that, and I definitely haven't plugged my Strat into it to get kind of that original sound. So let's do that right now. I'm gonna just put a mic on the camera. I'm not gonna mic it all up and do all this fancy stuff. We're gonna put a mic in the room. So bear with me on that. But let's try it. Okay. And you might be watching this video right now and you're like, this is the dumbest video. There's no point in this video. Well, you could turn YouTube on and watch car crashes or any number of pointless videos. That is way more pointless than this. Alright, this is going to be a surprise. I think this is basically in tune. Alright, close enough. Ooh, nice. The speaker sounds like a box. Alright, so I think that's the way this works, is the post is basically sort of like the master. So if we crank that and leave the pre down. Oh yeah, so there you get a little drive in there. And what I remember is if you take this post all the way down and crank this pre all the way up and then pull the bright out, you get this like really crazy solid state kind of crunchiness. It's terrible. I mean, there's useful sounds here. You could make noises with it that would be useful. What I remember, I'll tell you what I remember as a kid, is wanting to play big overdriven sounds like Metallica and 80s Van Halen, and this was my rig, and this is all I had, and I couldn't. Like, it just wouldn't make those sounds. And I just remember that being so frustrating. Oh, it doesn't make the little squeak at the end. Mine used to make this little blip at the end when it shut off. Okay, this is hilarious. I'm glad that I own this. Hey, buddy. I'm glad that I own this amp now, and I'm glad that I own this guitar, because when you think about the journey that you go on when you play guitar, don't ever forget it, I guess, is my point. I think we've been talking a lot on the channel, and again, this is a totally useless video for many of you. You'll get in the comments and think it's stupid, but I don't really care. We've been talking on the channel a lot about, aspiring to play better, to enjoy the hobby more, and honestly, experience over time, exposure to things over time, learning over time, and always wanting to improve your craft is what makes this awesome. The gear is fun, right? But the gear doesn't necessarily have to be good to be fun. And also, you don't have to have good gear to have fun. I remember spending hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. I mean, I had a basement bedroom when I was a kid, and I remember this was my life. This amp and this guitar were my life. I didn't know any different. So don't let anybody tell you any different. Just play what you have. And as you continue to add appreciation for various aspects of things, then now I think it sounds terrible. But I didn't when I was a kid. So, like my dad always used to say, live in the now, man. Like, play what you have and enjoy what you have. And then keep it. You might have to flip gear to get better gear and all that kind of stuff, but your first stuff, your first guitar, your first amp, never, ever, ever sell it, because this, going back to it, is super, super fun. This video I've been wanting to make for a long time. Thank you for putting up with it. Super fun. We'll throw it on a Friday afternoon just because. I hope you guys enjoy stuff like this. If you want to see any more randomness, let me know. We'll see you in the next video.